I'm going to move on to the roof panels next. So you'll have two corrugated roof panels, all your windows, although it looks as though I'm a couple short by the looks of it, and your inner frame. So everything needs to be primed, but first of all we need to glue your framework window frames into the holes. So I'm just going to add a light bead of glue around the outside, most probably using the cocktail dabbing method. Stick them in, remove any excess glue, go along to the end, do that, turn it over, make sure they're all flush and no glue. Repeat that with this one. Once that's done, we can take this into the garage and give it a grey primer on top coat on the top. Once it's dried, then we can turn it over and do the bottom coat. Now we don't need to do both sides of these, only one side is showing, so you can prime just the one side. So I'm going to fit the windows and come back. So that's all the framework added to the roof. These are loose, I haven't glued them, I haven't masked them down, but the two window inner frames I have, because this is model board, you can lift it up with your knife. Once you've done it, it should be okay. So I'm going to go into the garage and prime those grey, allow it to dry. Again, like I said earlier, you don't need to prime the underside of that one, but you will need to prime the underside of your roof, unless you want to do it in white, but obviously then you're up against having a grey top and then a white, and how far the white will bleed through onto those is another thing. So I'm going to be doing grey both top and bottom. Right, these have all been done. So framework glued into the roof has been painted, primed on the top side, allowed to dry, primed on the underside, allowed to dry. We've primed just one side of the glazing template. We don't need to paint the other side because it will be hidden. We now need to add this glazing strip to the underside of your roof, and there is a engraved line all the way around the outside of these windows. So you can add some dabs of glue, add your glazing, wipe any excess glue off. You don't need much anyway, so hopefully you shouldn't need to do that. Allow it to dry thoroughly, and then we can glue our template on top of the glazing over those lines. Then that is complete. We can then put them aside. We won't be adding the roof to the building just yet, but that part has done, and I'll show you when I've finished. With the glazing now in place and as good as dried, we can now add the under frame template to cover the glazing. And obviously I've turned this upside down, so I'm going to add some glue along these parts and just dab along the outside, and then just literally lay it over the top, going from left to right, and gently lower it into position. Again, any excess glue can be wiped away. So I'm going to complete those two next. And there you have your template over the glazing, and if you fit it over on top of your roof, you should find that it creates a nice ridge for it to sit on. And if I put this one on top, if I can do it one-handed, stick it in, there you go. So because it fits between those two cross members, that's sat there, it's not fallen off or going anywhere. So that's worked out really well. So that's done. We can put those to one side for safekeeping, and we'll move on to the next part of the build.